TNT exclusive.
Top White House officials reportedly urging a pardon for former Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger. And police find the body of a New Jersey woman, the apparent victim of a carjack killer. This is the CBS Evening News. And this is Bob Schieffer reporting. Good evening. Is the president considering a pardon for one-time Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger on charges growing out of the Iran-Contra scandal? It was Weinberger who had argued strongly against the secret deals that led to the scandal, but he was indicted this year for giving false statements about the situation to Congress. And now apparently his friends are urging President Bush to come to his rescue. Rita Braver has our report.
President Bush's aides had no official comment on a Washington Post report that top Republicans, including Vice President Dan Quayle, are advocating a pardon of former Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger and other Iran-Contra figures. But privately, some officials said the topic of presidential pardons is being discussed within the administration, and one arch-conservative is already going public.
Of course, the president should pardon Cap Weinberger. Cap is one of the heroes of American history. It was on his watch as Secretary of Defense that we defeated Soviet communism.
But it's more than the case against Weinberger that has Republicans angry. Many administration insiders believe Iran-Contra independent counsel Lawrence Walsh derailed a last-minute election comeback for the president. That's because just days before the election, Walsh released new evidence showing that Mr. Bush was aware of the arms for hostage trade earlier than he previously claimed. The president, who's spending the weekend at Camp David, said today in his radio address he takes all responsibility for his election loss.
There must be no finger pointing, no playing the blame game.
Nevertheless, some officials believe he'd be justified in giving some blame to Walsh and therefore pardoning Iran-Contra figures. But others say that would bring the same public outrage that met Gerald Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon in the Watergate scandal.
It would be a travesty on justice. It would assert that the executive is above the law. And all of this, I think, would cause damage to our political system, and it would cause damage to the Republican Party.
Sources say at this point, any talk of pardons is just speculation. No formal White House discussions have begun, and no one seems to know exactly what President Bush himself thinks of the idea. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.
President-elect Clinton spent a quiet weekend around the House today. Of course, a quiet weekend around the House is not quite the same for a president-elect as it is for the rest of us. Richard Threlkeld in Little Rock has our report on that.
President-elect Clinton is spending most of this weekend relaxing here at the governor's mansion. Part of the day he played couch potato, watching the Arkansas-Mississippi State game on TV.
Hangs it up and the ball is caught.
And part of the day he spent at a nearby golf course. Clinton's an enthusiastic golfer, but a year on the campaign hustings has thrown his game off a bit. Next week, Clinton will resume the process of picking the top people to run his administration. A sign that he's something more than just the governor of a small state, his choices to head his transition team, Warren Christopher and Vernon Jordan, two Washington insiders. They'll have their work cut out for them.
The top 3,000 positions in government are now open. In no other country in the world, even when there's a military coup d'etat, do they automatically change as many people as we change.
Clinton's main priorities in his first 100 days in office will be to try to fix the economy, produce more jobs, and reform health care. He's aware that when it comes to getting something done in Washington, less